So the system is officially in action. We're almost to August, and so it's time to water these soybeans. So here's the river screen pump running, pulling water out of this pond. We are inside of the controller station. The river screen pump is pumping water out of the pond, and it comes in here, the inlet, and it goes through each one of these filters that are full of sand, and it filters the water so that there's no more particles in the water, and then it goes out through there. We're pumping around 440 gallon a minute, is what the meter says there. And if I was growing corn or something where I needed fertilizer, I'd be able to pump fertilizer into the system there. There are some things you can put on with soybeans, but I decided not to try that out yet this year. But that's what the fertilizer input looks like. I waited as long as I could to start irrigating because I only have a limited amount of water in the pond, probably about 5-6 inches per acre, unless we get a big rain and it fills the pond back up. But that's going to make a huge difference on these soybeans in the month of August and here in the last week of July. I'll probably be running this system, maybe not every day, but every other day probably, to put on a 1/4 inch at a time on all 100 acres of soybeans that I've got drip tape on. I can run everything from an app on my phone. Right now it's programmed to water every acre at the press of one button, but you can also go in and water specific zones that may be drier than others. But I am really looking forward to seeing how these soybeans perform with this drip irrigation. Meet the Peterson family. Our dad, the 3 Peterson brothers, and our families farm together in central Kansas. Our family farm started in 1882 and has been raising cattle and crops ever since. Please subscribe to this channel and give us a like and a comment if you enjoy the video.
There's that mix. It's still about 2/3 wheat and 1/3 corn silage, plus the hay, distiller's little rolled corn. It really gets the tumbling action. Mix that all together with those 2 augers underneath, 2 augers on top. Working all the heifers, work the steers.
We out here picking up bales. We swathed and raked and baled this half of this pasture here. Made some nice hay. This is one of my favorite scenic 360s from up on this pasture. Some gently rolling hills.
All right, here comes another load of grass from right here. I fit 24 on the trailer because there's 48 in the field. Stuck that one on the back.
Getting lots of bales stockpiled here. Quite a few more to come too.
Just getting this a little bit raked up. Loving the green and the blue contrast here on a hot July Kansas afternoon. All right, I finished the waterway, and this field is on the same road, so I'm gonna move the rest of these bales with the M7. I brought the forks with me. So here's showing a little bit of what my dad's been doing. So he's cleaned out the manure around that pad, and then behind this bunk line, then we'll put fresh dirt in there. So we'll dump the manure on the pile to be hauled out, and put fresh dirt in there.
Well, today is July 15th. I don't think it has rained since maybe July 3rd, somewhere right at the beginning of the month. So we're basically at 2 weeks without rain now, and it hasn't been terribly hot for July standards. I mean, we've been in the upper 90s, but no triple digits. Next week, it's supposed to hit triple digits, and so that is when things could really start to go downhill. We have a chance of rain tomorrow night for maybe, it's like 3/4 of an inch is what they're predicting. We never know if we can trust those predictions, but that would help things a little bit. But you know, we got basically 10 inches of rain in 1 month there for mid-May to mid-June, so it'd have been nice to have something. You know, we go from a bunch of rain to no rain. But that's Kansas, that's central Kansas for you. So we have been running our irrigation pivots. We've been running the one out of the lagoon at the farm on that cornfield, and then the one out of the river onto that cornfield, and then my full circle pivot onto my cornfield. So we've got 3 pivots running on corn.
Gonna let these cattle back into this shady area behind the shed while we clean behind their bunk line and put in some new fresh dirt. See, smoothing that behind the bunk line. Some nice fresh dirt. And over by the water. I've been kind of helping Evan learn how to run the Kenworth for hauling some manure, so I haven't filmed much. I'm on my second load. I've been loading Evan's and then letting him drive it over here. So he's done 2 loads and I've done 2 loads. And now I've got to stop for chores because I got a meeting at church tonight. But I think tomorrow after we sort those steers in the morning, we'll have a big day hauling manure. There's the piles. We try to keep them pretty tight so that they're easy to scoop up and load in the spreader. So he's already got a pretty full semi, but he's getting one last scoop there. And I'm starting chores. Time to sort up some steers. We are sorting on a Wednesday instead of a Thursday. I mean sorting on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday. Sale is still on Thursday. We got 119 from the first pen. There's 5 or 10 in this pen we need to get out that are big and they kind of stick out here. So we're gonna fill the load from the pen 9 steers that have less days on feed. They're still over 90 days though. Here's the last 3 that made the cut. We had a group of 6, and in order to get 124 head, we needed to add 3 of them. So those are the ones that barely didn't make the cut down there. They'll be on a load sometime in August. So we got 62 over here and 62 over here. Sale tomorrow. By the time this video goes, I've already sold. Those heifers I let you know ahead of time. Most of the time, by the time I film, they're sold. There's the pen of medium steers, so they fill this pen up. There's 142, I think, in there. And then the load of 2 steers, or 2 loads of steers in pen 7 that we'll sell tomorrow. We got a new product on the farm today that we'll use this fall and winter. They are 24-foot bunk lines with neck rails built in. Evan is doing some baling for my Uncle Bruce. I am in his tractor, but I'm pulled into this field over here and it's not raked yet. So I gotta find where the rake is at here. I'm following the rake directly now. And they can bail up these out rounds and then we'll trade. Okay, taking the rake and going home, leaving this for Evan and Bruce to finish up. So these weeds and sedan that we put down, there's a growing crop like that, but it just had more weeds in it right along the feedlot. We put that down 8 days ago, 7 to 8 days ago, I can't remember. And the stems are still wet, but I think we might bale it up and grind it with the next grinding, since it won't make very many bales, just 3 passes. It might rain in like 3 or 4 hours. So we have a really good chance in the morning, but a little bit of a chance tonight.
What's he driving?
Hi, Daddy, I'm
Is
Charlie.
it a big truck?
Daddy! Hi! Hi, Daddy! Bye, Owen. Hey, Dad!
Owen came to ride with me. We are hauling some manure today. It's all back roads, so.
All right.
Raising up the bed. There goes the bed. We're dumping the truck. This morning we worked in the shop some. We got some shop projects going on. What do you think? Are we doing a good job? Owen was very excited to come along. He's always excited to come farming. Likes figuring out how things work. We did it. See, look, we dumped that big pile over there. See the big pile?
Well, I have spent this lovely July afternoon painting our
Looks good.
brand new trailer. Just kidding. We've had this trailer for 20 some years probably.
Yep.
And it was in pretty rough shape. It was peeling, rusting. And so Evan sanded it all up for us and got it all prepared to paint. And then I painted it with a paint sprayer this afternoon. Nathan helped me a little bit. Kendall helped me a tad. But
little paint jars for it.
yeah, I'm not making that up. I've got evidence to prove it. I should have filmed some time lapses for you guys, but here's the finished product. Well, I think Kendall took some before pictures, so I'll put those on here too. But it looks a lot better. It's amazing what a new coat of paint will do for something old. What have you been doing today, Kendall? You been vlogging?
I went to Bruce's hayfield and baled with his baler for a while, so I showed a little of that.
Nice. We've been hauling manure all day out of the pens. Taking them about 7 miles away to be spread at a later time. But we're just dumping a bunch of piles together, getting it out of the pen, out to the field. All right, made it to the wheat field we're gonna dump it on. This was that last wheat field we harvested a couple weeks ago.
Got a July 17th rain. It's a really good thing in Kansas. That's a really good thing everywhere. These steers had a wet last morning here. So I'm getting them fed here before 7. So they have time to clean up their feed and still get hauled in. The sale's at 10, but they probably won't sell till after 12 or 1 o'clock. A bigger sale this week than last week. Also, yes, I see that one that's out. We just got a beautiful morning. The rain overnight was about an inch, a little bit above and a little bit below in some places. Beautiful day to load some cattle out. It'll be humid later whenever it heats up, but last Thursday. I guess I'll Greg and Nathan have the honors of loading up the steers this week. I'm gonna finish my chores over here. So I like to play guess the weight on the day of the sale. A lot of it depends on, you know, how late in the day they get across the ring, so how much shrink there is. That one's one of the smaller ones. That red with the white tail on it's one of the bigger ones. My guess on the whole 124 is about 880, because I know there's some that weigh over 9. When I was guessing my price, I was, you know, at 860 to 870 range. It might land there if they shrink for a while. I did find a heifer on the bunch. It's tagged as a heifer and looks like a heifer. I don't know how it exactly got in with that pen, but I caught it right before it got on the truck. Gotta decide what to do with that. It's probably a little too big to sell with the group of heifers that we'll have in August, but we might stick it on there. Could also possibly just keep it around, put it with the replacement heifer. She'll have the age to breed back. I don't know, maybe that's a bad idea. She looks like she can make a cow. She's not too wild or anything. Y'all can tell me if it's a bad idea in the comments to take a heifer that's been on feed since April and with a Synovex implant and put her on grass for 2 months and breed her in November. That's, you know, whatever. But hey, the nation needs more heifers to be retained, so maybe that was the sign. She hid in a steer pen and she wants to live a little longer.
Well, I'm sitting here chaining spark plugs on this engine over the water, which is always what happens. Pretty sure the last time I had to change spark plugs on this engine, I vlogged about it. So it seems like these spark plugs shouldn't be that old, but maybe we have been vlogging that long. I don't know. Someone can go back and see how long ago it was that I put spark plugs in here. But I had been starting and running fine, and then it rained, but then I thought I'd start it back up again, and it just wouldn't even fire. And I don't know, these look kind of not the best, so I hope this fixes it. Yeah, just sitting here, I'm listening to the Shark Farmer, The Root of It podcast, because Greg and I are supposed to be on it here in a couple weeks or something while we're at Ag PhD days in South Dakota. I tell you what, I don't really get spark plugs I mean, this thing was starting and running fine, and then it rained. But, you know, we have kind of a cover, so I don't know. But, you know, it was out here in the rain, sat for a few days. It just didn't even try to start at all. I put new spark plugs in there, fired up in a second. So I guess I should, I need to write down the hours that I put them in so I can watch it for next time. But I'm glad it's running. So my mom picked up these spark plugs because she was already in Lindsborg. While I was waiting for her to bring them, I tried to start our river pump, and that engine didn't start either. So if I can get this one started, I guess I need to go back to that one, and maybe it needs spark plugs. I don't know what's going on. I think I just walked right over the top of that guy. Then I saw him crawling into the water.
All right, Dad and I have been hauling manure up on the hill here to the wheat stubble. Evan has been swathing our either third or fourth cutting alfalfa. This one's a little thinner than the last one. It hasn't rained, but we're getting it put down. Hopefully we'll get it baled up, no problem. It's supposed to be 100 degrees, triple digits for the next 10 days, so shouldn't have any problem baling it up. It is kind of cloudy today though. I don't think there's a chance of rain, but decided to do a farming in shorts day. It wasn't actually that hot today, but it's that time of year where you can get away with wearing shorts.
It's getting kind of late in the evening, but I brought Greg home because he brought the sprayer out from his place. And we don't want to forget about the planter. The planter is ready to be put in the shed for the winter, basically. So there's some work that needs to be done to it, but it'll probably be in the winter. But we also need to, so we're already winterizing it, so I'm going to put some RV antifreeze in here to flush out the water. Well, I flushed it out with water to get the fertilizer out, and now I will flush through the RV antifreeze so that it doesn't freeze and crack anything over winter. Well, I've left the fertilizer in it before, but it tends to cause problems and eat stuff up, and try to get it washed off real good for sure. And then we're gonna do this year, and it should work good.
All right, cheer on, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a close race here. They're both in the second barrel. Oh my goodness, you got Dawson over there carrying that bale of hay with one hand. Talk about a real farmer right there. One.
1, 2, 3, 4, tractor!
Yeah, louder,
1, 2, 3, 4, tractor! Thanks for watching, everyone. Check out our music videos linked in the description. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, and explore our website, www.petersonfarmbrothers.com. See you guys next time.